Welcome back again. As you can see, we have flown across the country from Florida to Oregon. You're going to get to learn probably one of the most fun rides in this park. And I don't mean that ironically. It's a very simple and straightforward ride to work, but you're going to have so much fun doing it. Because you're going to be absolutely flying on platform and setting trains out really, really fast. Seriously, we get numbers well over 1,000 every hour at this ride. It's crazy. So, anywho, why don't I go ahead and show you around? So, first and foremost, you may notice the glaring steak restaurant blasting music over here. So this is Stardust Steaks. They're not open at the moment because it's just after they closed for the night. So you can see it's very well decorated. Lots of tables, delicious food. Pricey, but it's worth it. It's also got a bathroom over here. And you can get booze. There's at least a couple places on this Midway to get booze. So I thought I'd show you that, because it's pretty cool. It offers you great views, too, of the surrounding Midway. Let's go down the ramp. Metal Sonic is a big coaster. It's over a mile of track. For a hypercoaster of this generation, yes, that's unusual, but it's not the longest one of this generation. And no, I'm not including the Gigas in that. The one that was supposed to open in China was supposed to be something like 5,600 feet. I have to look at the numbers. National Coasters posted something about it. It's longer than even Metal Sonic, so Metal Sonic just does a lot with its length. Oh yeah, here's the other place you can get booze. There's a Captain Morgan stand. And you can get more than Captain Morgan here. It's just mainly what's sold. So you can get your drink on over here. And some of you are probably noticing that this bears a striking resemblance to Kings Island's Coney Mall, and you would be correct. This drew heavy inspiration from it, down to a lot of the way the islands are placed. And the fact that there's a Subway right here and a Skyline Chili over there. You can wait in line, you can order. They're selling their new Subway Series sandwiches here, so that's really nice. Let me tell you a little bit about that. Here's an eating area over here. Here's another part of the Midway. Here's another restroom over here, by the way, in case you need it. So, truth be told, I've had this coaster in my head since December of 2019. I was riding Raging Bull in 20-degree weather, like any rational person would do. And I found the Metal Sonic music from Sonic Mania playing in my head. I'm like, we need to make a Metal Sonic Hyper. But here's the thing, it can't be a first-gen Hyper. It's got to be more nimble. So I made it a 5th-gen. Much more wide seats, much higher pacing, and a crap ton of airtime. A metric crap ton of airtime. So, here it is. And I spent some time at Kings Island. I was like, what is a park area that represents Stardust Speedway the best? And for some reason, my mind always went back to Kings Island's Coney Mall. I made something a little jokingly called, I took a park map of Kings Island and I called it Kings Island CD. I mapped out which Sonic CD zone would correspond with each area of the park. And wouldn't you know, I put Stardust Speedway right at Coney Mall. Anyway, since we're on the West Coast, here's an In-N-Out burger. This gets a huge line. And it's open pretty much all the way till close. So people who want to get last ride of the night on Metal Sonic will get some In-N-Out burger and go right in line. You'll usually have like a 30 or 45 minute wait at the end of the night. It goes quick. So you're better off only getting like one or two things if you're doing that. Or you can get a bunch. But you just make sure you finish it before you get there. They won't let you take it across. So anyway, that's the In-N-Out burger. Let's continue going across this way. Here's Skyline Chili. You're probably wondering what each part of this Midway goes to. So this, I'll get to that in a second. So this is Skyline Chili. It's very good. Yes, I know we're not in Cincinnati. I don't care. I begged Skyline Chili, and we put one in. So, it's got the skyline on the top still, unlike Kings Island's. This leads to the rest of the park. This heads over to the west entrance. And Valley of Kings is over this way. The Valley of Kings section is what has Lost World Expedition. It's toward that end of the park. Going this way, you get straight to Eggman Land. Eggman Land is this way. And this way over here will take you more towards the north entrance. Not the north entrance, the south entrance. I've got my directions wrong. And the south entrance is where let's see what's over there. That's where Celestial Valley is. It's our Kirby section of the park. Sorry, I haven't looked over a map. Plus this, I don't really manage this park. I only paid that much attention to Wabash Valley and Thrill Yards. Plus, this park is enormous. It takes a while to memorize the layout. This is our photo booth. Self-explanatory. Come get your photo of Metal Sonic kicking your butt, like he always does. This is the exit here. It's a ramp, no elevator needed. We'll go over that. Come down here for the whole meat and potatoes. We got our beautiful sign right here. Look at all this lush foliage. Got some red lighting. Even though there's beauty in this area, still got a sinister taste to it. How do you like this building? This holds all the good ride stuff. It holds most of the queue. Look at that. Inspired by the lighting that goes back and forth on the actual Stardust Speedway in both Mania and CD. And look at that. The lighting is also inspired, but is also the same color. So we tried to make it as resemblant to Stardust Speedway as you could possibly make a theme park area. But we tried to still keep it a traditional theme park Midway, so we went with Coney Mall. These are your lockers. There are a ton of them, and they are free for the current wait time plus an hour, and it's constantly updated. If the wait gets And here's the thing. Here's what works to your advantage. That I forgot to mention in the per hour airfield videos or any preceding videos. If the wait time gets longer, it will add the time to your locker. If it gets shorter, it will actually let you keep that time. If the wait goes from an hour suddenly to 15 minutes, and it's not going to suddenly deduct the 45 minutes. However, if it's vice versa, it will add the 45 minutes. Yeah, we don't like to nickel and dime people here. That's a lot of people's frustration with the other park chains. We're not like that. Anyway, if you leave it in there too long, yes, you will have to pay to get it out. C'est la vie. Next time, remember your stuff. And here's the ride entrance. So that's pretty much it for the Midway Tour. I actually ended up getting through that pretty quickly for a Midway that's as big and vast as this is. So next we're going to go over some general information. And the first part of this general information we're going to go over is the various papers and slips you're going to deal with. There's 4 of them. There are 2 types of alternate access. The normal alternate access, which is a green slip, a plan your day pass, which is a blue slip, parent swaps, which are purple, and item tickets, which are black. So, let's go over those in order. Regular alternate access, mostly for physical disabilities, although there are some exceptions to that. You'll know by the color which one it is. It's not up to you to decide, it's up for park ops to decide which one it is. So people with this blue pass, or with this green pass, they're first going to go to the entrance of the ride. They're going to go to either person who's going to give them a return time, which is the current wait time, which is the current time for the current wait time. Now, let's say it's 3 o'clock. It's peak time. We want to ride Metal Sonic. The wait's 2 hours. The return time will be 5 o'clock. Unless they want the front row, in which case it'll be an extra 15 minutes, so the return time will be 5:15. Frustrating, I know, if you're have to wait that long, but it keeps everything fair, keeps the system from being abused. Now, what if I want to shorten that wait time? Well, you can purchase EasyQ, like a person without it. If you purchase EasyQ, it's going to be the current time plus the EasyQ time, and then front row's only going to add 5 minutes in that case. You just have to go through the motions here. You just got to scan, make sure there's enough, make sure you have scans left, because the rolling limit does apply here. In the case of this coaster, Metal Sonic, it is EasyQ Plus, so it has to be EasyQ Plus. Otherwise, you get 1 scan for the whole day for regular EasyQ. Anyway, so that's that. So it's the current time plus the EasyQ time. Plan your day pass for people with more mental disabilities. Although that, again, won't always be the case. In this case, they get the pass. They have they're allowed to ride until they fill the pass. And then they gotta go and get another one, which shouldn't take long at all. All they gotta do is go to a guest service location. There's one by East Entrance. They gotta hand theirs in and then get a new one. So they're not going to go to the entrance. They're going to go straight to the exit. Most rides, and I mean most, not all, will let them straight on as their first ride of the day, and then give them a return time. Let's say they want to ride Metal Sonic. They come at 3 o'clock. We look to see, and it's a busy day. the return time is 90 minutes. They say, let's say their last ride was at 2. We say, sorry, please come back in 30 minutes. And then they come back at the right. If it was at 1:30 before, you'd say, hey, the current time, the ride time has passed. Go ahead in. And then you write the name of the ride, and then you would let them on, and then give them a return time, which is the current time plus the interval. Here's the thing. For newer rides like Metal Sonic and Daybreak, Metal Sonic, Daybreak, and Infinite are the ones I know off the top of my head that have this stipulation. If it's a really popular ride like this, it's going to be the same rides that have the scan limit on the regular EasyQ. It's a really popular ride like this. There's a couple of stipulations with the Planar Day Pass. A, it cannot be your first ride of the day. B, you can only ride one time using the standard interval for the day. After that one time, you must make sure that the current wait time has passed before you ride it again, since the last ride time before you can ride it again. Let's say your interval, again, is 90 minutes. Your last ride was at 1:30. Normally, you'd be good to go, right? But you previously rode Metal Sonic at 10 o'clock. Considering the park opened at 8, that's a perfectly... It would not be their first ride of the day, considering the park opened at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you previously rode it, and the wait time's 2 hours, you could be like, well, since this is a really popular ride, after you've ridden once, you have to wait the current wait time since the last ride time before you come back again. And they'd be like, okay, and be on their way. If they want to wait for front row, it's 15 minutes, as before. Now, how does EasyQ factor into that? EasyQ cuts the time in fourths. So, the current interval's 90 minutes, then... they'll usually round up to the nearest minute. Then it's 23 minutes if you have EasyQ. And then only 5 extra minutes for... And then only 5 extra minutes for front row. And with EasyQ, as long as you have a scan available, you can use the interval. The interval limit does not apply if you have EasyQ Plus. If you have EasyQ, then yes, you can only use the standard. You can only use the shortened interval once. Otherwise, you have to make sure. After that, you have to make sure that the EasyQ time has passed since your last ride. And then for EasyQ Plus, you can just use the interval as much as you want. This goes for any other ride that has that stipulation. So that's that. Whether it's a green or a blue pass, what you're going to do, if you're working a position that handles this, then for the blue pass, you're going to take it from them, you're going to open it up. You're going to make sure, A, they're the person they say they are, and B, that they can ride this ride. And we'll get to rider restrictions later. But if they have an X next to the ride, they cannot ride. If they have a C next to the ride on the list, they can ride, albeit conditional. So let's say they have boot on. They have to take the boot off. They have brace. They have to take a brace off, etc. But you get the idea. That's whatever pass you do. So, what you're going to do if it's a green pass, take it from them, do all the checks. You're going to write down the ride code. You're going to write down the return time, and you're going to write down your initials. And then they'll go back to the exit. If it's a plainer day pass, if it's the first ride of the day, you just write down the name of the ride, what time they're riding, and give them a return time. If it's not their first ride of the day, which it won't be because it's Metal Sonic, then you're going to take it from them, do your checks, and then you're going to do your checks, and then you're going to check to make sure that it's time for them to ride. If it is, write Metal Sonic next to the time, and then give them their next ride time. Take a drink of water real quick before I continue. It may be cold here in Sun River, but I'm still pretty parched. So that's what you're going to do for those passes. I did mention there were a couple more. Let's go. Parent swaps. As you know, this is a 54-inch ride, which means if you're not 54 inches or above, you can't ride. Maybe next year. So what you do instead is you have the kid, who's too short, wait with up to 2 other people, while the rest of the party take their parent swap, which is a purple slip that will have their name and a list of rides. If they fill it up, all they have to do is go get another one from an entrance person. And they're going to take that with them. And they're going to wait in line, however long it may be. Once they board, they're going to go through. They're going to give that parent swap to whoever's in charge of it. Usually it's going to be exit. And then they're going to hold on to it. They're also going to make sure that the ride is on it. And then the people are going to come back. The 2 people who are watching the kid is going to hand the kid off to the people who just rode. They're going to get on. And to do that, they're going to come by, come by the exit, give the last name, the matches, write the name of the ride, give it back to them, and board them. Simple as that. They can do this at any ride that their kid's too short for. Or that their kid doesn't want to ride anyway. It doesn't need a reason, just needs a kid that's not riding. Next, let's go over let's go over item tickets. So this ride has pretty strict loose article policies. There's a lot of stuff that can't be taken in the line, must be left in the locker. We would like for our entrance host to catch all of these. However, since we employ humans and not robots, sometimes things will slip through the cracks. In which case, they'll most likely get stopped at Grouper. If Grouper stops them, they send them back out to put their stuff in a locker, and then they can wait in the easy queue line to ride again. Which demonstrates the shared responsibility between a that the guest does to the shared responsibility of A, the employee to catch it at the entrance, and B, the guest to look at signs and stuff before you ride. So they'll usually have an item ticket in hand on their way out, and they'll just hand that back. They'll just show it to the person over here, and then they'll hand that back up there. And boom, they're back where they were. So that's our papers and our slips. So next we're going to go over general ride information. Alright, here's all the general ride information for Metal Sonic. This is a Bulliger and Mad Yard Hypercoaster. The trains are 3rd gen. Seats are nice and wide compared to the 1st gen. Clammy shells are even more accommodating. It is the most user-friendly restraint on the planet. And probably arguably the best restraint ever made. Even when you're stable, it allows room for airtime. It's awesome. And unlike certain dumb parks, we don't have seat belts. And we never will. Seriously, they really shouldn't have them. I don't know why they do. So, the ride has a minimum required height of 54 inches, as with any other clamshell ride. Due to the restraint design, certain large guests may not ride. If you notice someone that's a bit larger, tell them, hey, we recommend you try the test seat. There's a test seat right out here. If they pull it down and the light turns green, they are good to go. Casts are not allowed of any kind. Braces and boots must be taken off. Purses are not allowed. Well, we'll get to the loose articles later. Those must be taken off before you ride. They can be left up there. Not to worry. Guests must have a minimum of 3 functioning extremities, 1 functioning arm, and 2 functioning legs. Little caveat there. 2 functioning legs, or 2 functioning arms, are sufficient instead of 3 functioning extremities if a guest's normal center of gravity and lower extremities are sufficiently strong to maintain proper riding posture under the dynamic conditions of the ride. In which case, the amputations must be below the ankle. Like I said, boots, casts, prosthetics not allowed on the ride. They can be taken off, you must take them off. Now, if you don't have the required extremities, you can make a request at guest relations to use the full body harness if you have certain amputations. Provided you have enough of your arms and legs there to be secured by the full body harness. It's in row 5. It's the right 2 seats that have the apparatus. And they'll usually let you ride twice. Anyway, like I said, guest services can tell you if you're eligible to use it. Cervical collars, neck braces, broken collarbones not permitted. Casts not permitted. All alternate access will be loaded through the ride exit. There's a nice gentle ramp for people with wheelchairs. Riders, wheelchair or otherwise, will have to take several steps on their own, or with the assistance of the people around them, to get in the ride. So they will have to transfer from the wheelchair. That's it for rider requirements themselves. Loose articles. Pretty strict loose article policy. Anything that can fit in your pockets, plus a fanny pack no larger than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You have a bunch in your entrance box, you can use the measure. As well as water bottles can be taken in. Fanny packs must be worn on the side of your body. Pockets must be secure. And water bottles may be left underneath the shoe bins. Which, by the way, are for shoes only. Everything else has to go in the 3 lockers. Someone complains, just remind them that the lockers are free. For the most part, unless they're forgetful. And they won't be free after they come back after like 5 hours. I'm like, wait a minute, I left my stuff in there. Oh no! Anyway. So that's what that is. Riders should be advised that the magnetic systems are in use on this ride, and the ride contains strobe lighting. Other than that, that's pretty much it for rider requirements. Now let's go over the general info about working the ride. So there are 9 positions associated with this ride. 2 entrance hosts. There's a very high volume of people coming in. So 2 people is nice. There's 1 grouper. Now you're probably wondering why we have 1 if Final Hazard is 2. Isn't this ride a bit more popular? Well, you'd be right. Except there's only 7 rows. Which can be grouped very quickly. So we only need 1 grouper. There's 4 restraint checking positions, 1 at each corner. And then there's a controls host. We do bump rotations at the ride. To keep things simple, one of the 2 every 30 minutes, controls will call down. And then tell entrance to start the bump rotation. And then one of the entrances will start the bump rotation. They're going to go up to grouper. Grouper's going to go in, go to the front of the platform, and join at load 1. Load 1 back to load 2. Load 2 crosses over to unload 2. Unload 2 goes up to load 1. Load 1 goes to controls. Controls to exit. And exit back down to entrance. In the event we have cut one of the entrances, which will happen on more and low staffing days, then exit will start the bump rotation, during which time we'll be without an exit for a bit. In the event that we have cut both an entrance and exit, which usually won't happen without a couple of other cuts, then we do platform rotations and we rotate entrance off brakes, which means you'll be down here for a little while longer, but hey, you got shade, you got a fan, everything you need down here. We'll go over the specifics of entrance later, but that's how the rotations go. The bare minimum is entrance, grouper, 2 checking, controls, which you'll usually see in weekdays in January and February, or March and April, depending on when this ride's scheduled for maintenance. But what we've started doing recently is we've simply reduced the capacity of the ride during maintenance. So we don't actually close as many of the rides anymore, as many of the coasters anymore. Small price to pay, but it keeps better a ride open with a longer line than not open at all. So if we have to cut positions, the first thing we're going to do is cut one of the entrances. Move bump rotations to exit. Then we're going to cut, and then we're going to cut exit. And then we're going to cut the 2 restraint checking positions. Now, due to the shortened nature of the trains, we can run 3 trains at bare minimum. Because checking is very, very fast on this. Trust me, you've seen Great Adventure get nitro out in like 20 seconds with 2 people checking. I think this will be just as easy. Especially since we don't have a seatbelt. I'm going to keep poking fun at that throughout the night. Seriously, seatbelts on B&M Hypers are ridiculous. And parks that put them on there should be ashamed of themselves. Anyway, I digress. The order of clears is going to go. First clears are going to come from the 2 front positions, so they can put up their clear as soon as they get back to their spot. Enable's going to put out their low clear once they see the clear from the left. And then once Unload 2 sees clears from both Enable and Unload 1, then they put up their high clear. We don't need to do the switcheroo because you can easily see both sides of the platform from controls. Anyway, that's basically it for general ride information. I know that was a bit longer, but I wanted to squeeze as much information as possible into that so we can streamline everything else. Alright, it's time for the queue tour. You're going to like this one. You're going to like this a lot. Let's start by going through Easy Queue. Now, the capacity of the ride's pretty high. Despite this, Easy Queue path is still pretty long. If the whole thing is full, Easy Queue can reach an hour and 15 minutes. 75 minutes for Easy Queue. If we're running 3 trains. And we're kicking butt, which we usually do. It's Metal Sonic. The middle here, that's the hour mark. Right here is the hour mark. This is the 45-minute mark. Right here. Middle here is the 45-minute. Music change. Right about here is the 30-minute mark. So we go to the middle of these. So this is the 30-minute mark. And then top of the stairs is the 15-minute mark for Easy Queue. This is a door that goes to the transfer area. We'll need to transfer trains on and off based on weather, as well as transfer trains in the morning. So we'll be using that door actually a lot more than you think. Even during normal operation. Let's go back the other way. The whole thing is an hour rather than an hour 15. That is because of the differences in A, this little portion right here, and B, the fact that Easy Queue goes around that whole switchback set. So the whole thing is an hour. To even things out, we'll count these as, I would say, 15 minutes each. And there's 3 of them, so 45 minutes. So full plus these is an hour 45. Other than that, the markers are pretty much the same. And then you got these switchbacks up here. These are much larger. This little nub is another 5 minutes, so if we open that up, but not one of these, that would be an hour 50. And then these are 20 minutes each. And there's 3 of them also. So this would be 2 hours and 50 minutes for building full plus tail end out there. which is usually the limit of what you'll see in a normal operating day. Then these are each 10 minutes, and there's 4 of them, which is another 40 minutes. So 3.5 hours is for a queue that's entirely full, which you'll really only see on like weekend holidays and stuff like that. Or holiday weekends, I mean. Holidays, spring break, summer break especially. People love to come to Sun River. During the summer. Anyway, that was the Q Tour. Alright, let's blast through these positions. And unlike Tornado 2, no warnings here. It's a B&M clamshell, like I said. It's as simple and straightforward as it gets. So let's get started. So the first position we're going to go over is exit. So we're going to come over here, run up here real quick. As you can see, here's a nice wheelie chair ramp, just enough room to squeeze by, and a nice little waiting area. Look at this. You can see the transfer table. Isn't this cool? Isn't it cool how I have this laid out? The transfer is entirely indoors. So if it starts raining, we have to transfer trains off. You're dry. It's nice. It's not like Daybreak where you have to go out in the rain. Anyway, I digress. So this is exit. These gates are automatic, so you don't need to check them. Your main priority is to flip the bins. Now, you can do it however your unit soup has advised you to do. You can either have packs of 3 open. What I recommend instead, actually, is to have 1 of each bin open. Now, what goes in the bins? Shoes. And shoes only. Water bottles go down there below them or behind them. These are the shoes-only shoe bins for shoes and shoes only. And in that time, they've already checked and sent the train. That's how fast we're talking. Got an A phone right here in case you want to communicate with controls. You can also go in the booth if you really need to. We'd advise going in too much though. You got your height stand. Now, how to use the height stand? You have them stand like this, behind their back to it. Together, deep breath. You swivel this thing over. If it hits their head clean, they're good. If it brushes their hair or otherwise misses their head, it's not. If they're really close, you got guest services right there. Over at the south entrance, you can send them over. Let's get a wristband. They come back with a wristband, check them with the height stick, and they're good to go. You also handle parent swaps and alternate access here mainly. This height stick is for you to measure anyone you think needs to be measured. It's more for quick glance. If they're close, use the height stand. If they're not, then just reject them out. Do it nice. Don't be a meanie about it. Look, we just sent another train. Alright, I think I hammered home the fact of how fast we are. Ridiculously fast we are. There are no clears to give here. For loading alternate access, this can include ADA passes, parent swaps, and VIP tours. You can load up to 4 cars at a time. 4 cars worth at a time. 16 people, as long as they're in the same cars. You can fill up to 4 cars. Simply, if you have alternate access, simply make the closed gates hand signal toward controls. And then they'll be like gates to manual, because they set gates to manual. And when you're ready to go, when the next train parks, just let them in, and then controls will make a quick announcement. And when they're in, enable will open the gates. Drink. So that's pretty much it for alternate access. You can load up to half the train, and then you can load every 3 trains. Can't be more often than that. Just keep people from getting stymied successively. It's really annoying. I've had it happen to me. But that's pretty much it for exit. If there's only one entrance, then you start the bump rotation. And while there is no exit, alternate access duties go to unload 1, actually. So you got an A-phone right there. They can knock on the window. There's a gate right here. You get the idea. So anyway, let's go back down to the entrance, because we're going to go over greeter next. It's a beautiful night out. Look at that. I know there's a lot of light pollution from this park, but you can see the stars and the moon, and everything's nice. It's an absolutely beautiful night. Alright, so here's your entrance. Go ahead, take a seat, grab your height stick, and let's get started. So this is entrance. Here's 2 of you. This is the normal queue. This is easy queue. Easy queue, you're in charge of verifying easy queue wristbands. If show you the wristband, make sure it's not torn or cut or whatever. Make sure it's the right logo. Make sure it's the right make sure it's the right color, and make sure it scans. Make sure they have enough scans. It will tell you down here how many scans they have left. If it's a big fat 0, sorry, come back another time or use the Raylo. Test seat's right over there. Height stand's right over here. First line of defense against loose articles. See something that shouldn't belong, tell them to go put it in locker or leave it with the non-rider. If they complain, assure them the lockers are free as long as they're not a forgetful numpty. And one of you's got to go express queues from time to time, call in the wait times using the park phone, and you do have a park phone. A phone, park phone, a phone, park phone, a phone, park phone, a phone, park phone. And park ops will call you and ask about the wait time. If there's only one of you, you can, if you really need to, you can close entrance for a bit, announce using your PA that you're going to express the queue or open up the queues, and that you'll be right back, and just to hang tight. If the line's really short enough that would make a difference to how long they're waiting, then you wouldn't really need to be expressing queues now, would you? No, you would not. And when expressing queues, I know I did the wait times for if it were all the way out to the door. We don't usually want to do that. We want to keep as much of the queue inside as possible. Especially during the summer when it can get really hot. Especially during the winter when it can get really cold. Temperature is about 30 degrees right now. So I'm sure everyone would prefer to be indoors, although we do have heaters out here, and it actually feels quite nice here. But again, we want to keep as much of the queue indoors as possible. Because we have a building! We have a big old building, why not use it? Other than that, first line of defense, rider requirements, loose articles, height. That's pretty much it. Let's go up to grouper. Look at this. Look at this. Goes down there, and then it comes right through here. It's awesome. I told you, we explain everything else beforehand, so allows us to streamline the whole rest of it. There are these awesome signs, too, that you can read later when you're not doing stuff, when you're not busy doing write-up things. I don't know, I just had a stroke or something. Oh, look at this. It's right outside the window. It's awesome. Music's blasting. Everyone's having a good time. It's an awesome ride. Meanwhile, you're over here signing rows because you're Grouper! Let's get started. So this is Grouper. Your main objective is to assign rows. The bays aren't very long, so please make sure you're only assigning... Well, except for the front row. You can shove as many people in there as you can. But please make sure you're only assigning one carload per chute. Trust me, at 7 cars, you really don't need to advance them that often. If they want front row, give them front row. Chances are a lot more of them are going to want the back. The back, you got a little bit of room. The back, you can shove a couple more people back there. Most of the GP won't be privy. Enthusies, you could tell. Usually when someone comes with a coaster shirt, I'm like, you want the back. The line is longer than 3 hours. We do not take row requests, even from enthusies. Sorry. Although they do see a single rider spot, and they're a single rider, I tell them by all means, go ahead and take that spot. And if they want to re-ride and it's just them, by all means, if there's a seat available, go ahead and find it and sit down and just ride again. Don't care. Get those 3 peats, 4 peats, 15 peats. I think the record is something like 76 times in one day. Someone rode this once. I know someone's going to come by and break that record by a lot at some point. Anywho, you got your A phone right here that you can use to communicate with controls. Now, I know I said earlier that sometimes they'll load from the exit. But another way they can do it is if they're at exit and they have alternate access, they can reserve rows through you. They can call over with the A phone. You can pick it up and say, I need rows such and such. So what you're going to do is, if you haven't filled them yet, don't fill them. If you have filled them, go ahead and chain off the row behind them. And then give it to them in the next one. And then call back over to exit, and then they'll pick up and say, hey, you got row such and such on the next one. For front row, we switch to manual load from the exit. That's usually how we do it. But anyway, whichever way's the most natural or the most efficient, do it that way. So anyway, reserving rows for alternate access, reserving rows, period. Or assigning rows, period. Checking also for ride requirements, height, loose articles, got your item tickets for that reason, ride requirements. If it gets too short at this stage, I usually quell the parents' rage by saying, here's an exit pass. Come back and ride when you are tall, and we'll let you ride in. So anyway, that's all there is to Grouper. Grouper's pretty simple. So what do you say we get going and we check some restraints? Go in this gate right here. Doobity-dee-bity-doo. And let's get started. So, Tornado 2, checking restraints was so annoying, so intensive. Leg flaps. Oh my god! Couldn't wait to get out of there. Now, checking restraints on a B&M Hyper is so simple, it's not even funny. You literally take the outboard restraint in one hand and the inboard restraint in one hand. You push and pull them at the same time, and you move on to the next one. It's so quick. Watch, I'm going to do it right now. Boom, boom, boom. And then you go on back. It's that simple, really. So your eye cycle is going to include down the line there. Take a peek over the fence at the front. Make sure there's no one out there. And then you step in your pressure pad. Pressure pads, as I've said before, timeout after 5 minutes. So don't step on them until you're ready to put out your clear. But I promise you, it's so fast. You won't have time to have them time out. They don't time out once everyone's stepped on. Only when not all of them are stepped. Fun fact, they need a certain amount of weight. Since each pad needs a certain amount of weight on in order for the train to dispatch, and each train needs to be test ridden. Sometimes if we have people test riding and at the same time we have people out going to get water or something, sometimes we may not have enough people in theory. But then we do what I like to call the Gerald method. I learned this at Cedar Point. So you take the garbage can, you plop it on here, take the water cooler, you plop it in the garbage can, and it actuates the pad. Since we're not really required to check the restraint of the person who's test riding, because they're an employee, they can just check themselves, pretty much. The person who's test riding usually puts it on the pad nearest them. They hop on the pad and then everyone hops on their pad and they go. You don't really need to do clears when you're test riding in the morning either, or doing any AM inspections. You just put it on the pad, hop in and go real quick. And then everyone steps on and they get in and go. It's really efficient. It's nice. So anyway, front of the train is going to check first 3 rows. Actually, front of the train is going to check first 4 rows. Back of the train is going to check last 3. You're going to check front to back because it's easiest to do that. And you're going to do what I just did the other cycle, so it's so straightforward. And of course, it's always best practice look up at the monitor, make sure your seats are all green. Once they are, you're good to go.
Welcome back. When the train stops,
we want to try and get trains out in 45 seconds. Interval technically is top left, but 45 seconds provides something more natural. Alright, let's get started. So what you're going to do, you're going to wait right here. People to board, people to board. Alright, they're all getting in, putting their shoes in the shoe bins and nothing else. Gates closed. Train is locked. People pull down. Give them a second to pull down. Hands up. Boom. 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 Alright, come on back. Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Step on your pad, put your clear out. Step off for a bit. Alright, go ahead and step back on, put it out again. There you go. All clear. Very straightforward and very fast. Let's do a couple more. We're going to breeze through this. It's not like Tornado 2 where it's going to take a while. We're gonna breeze through this. Remember to stay on your pad until the restraints have up barred. You step off early. If you step off at the wrong time, exactly, you can break the ride. If not, then otherwise you just have to start the dispatch sequence over again. Alright, go ahead.
against the headrest and hold on to the handlebars.
Nice and fast.
Keep your legs and feet down and not extended outward. Now get ready.
Do your eye cycle.
You're about to face robotics' most perfect creation.
Alright, go ahead, put your clear out. You're good to go. All clear. Very nice. Make sure you're watching the train as it's going out. You can spot large riders. Make sure you look up at the monitor so you can help them. So you can help them out.
And exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting.
Remember, it's got to be 3 clicks.
As you step through the gates, deposit any loose fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin. Keeping everything else with you as you take your seat. If you are still waiting, step back now.
Alright, waiting for the gates to open. We're going to do one more. Train is locked. Down bar. Pulling down. Row 3 might need a push. Alright, go ahead. Alright, pull down right here. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, there you go. Alright, it's good. Alright, there you go. Go and do your eye cycle right here. Go ahead and step in your pad, put your clear out. All clear. Alright, when the train parks, we're going to rotate back to enable.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants. As you step through the gates, deposit
you guys go ahead.
shoes in the silver shoe bins, keeping everything
Right.
else with you as you
Let's
take
go
your
back
seat.
here.
If you are still waiting, step back now as the gates are closing.
Alright, this is enable. You got your iPhone, you got your panel. You got the vertical mushroom like you do on a Giga. You got your gates toggle, 5-second cooldown. You can use to open gates if they're set to manual. Mostly you'll be using them to close gates. Once they say restraints are closed, once the spiel says gates are closing, then they close them. Or just close them whenever everyone's through. Yes, you can poke and prod to get people to move faster. Especially here at Metal Sonic, where we pride ourselves on capacity. You're going to check the back 3 rows right here. You're going to check these 6 seats. Do it the same way. 1 in each hand. Boom, boom, boom. Nice and quick. Once you get the low clear from over here, you're going to put a low clear out there so that Unload 2 can see it. So they can put out their high clear. Ready to get started? I know I am. So gates are open. People are coming in. Coming in. Alright, go ahead and close the gates. Everyone's through. Down bar. Train is locked. Alright, hands up. Alright, go ahead. That's good. Alright, you're going to do your eye cycle. Back here. Make sure no one's back here. And then wait for everyone to get back in their spot. All clear. There you go. Do a couple more. Like I said, very straightforward. This is going to be a quick restraint checking review. Alright, everybody's coming in. He's coming in. And up, he's trying to sit down with the bottle belt. Hey, buddy, you gotta put your bottle up underneath the bin. There you go. Alright, close the gates. Down bar. Train is locked. Don't wait for the other person. Just check at your own speed. Alright, hands up. Thank you. Alright, just a little push. There you go.
Now get ready, for you are about to face
go ahead and do your eye cycle.
Get ready. for metal side.
There you go. Here, wait for the low clear from over here. Alright, but you're clear. Alright, push your button, all clear. Very nice. Alright, we got one more. One more cycle, then we'll rotate. You're getting the hang of this really quickly. Trust me, I got the hang of bowl in like 2 seconds. It's that easy. Alright, everyone in. One in, everyone in. Now you can see how we get the numbers that we do each hour. Alright, go ahead and close the gates. Down bar. Go out here. Wait for people to get settled in a little bit. Alright. Go ahead and check. Boom. 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 Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Alright, come back here. Alright, everyone's in their safe zone. Go ahead and put up your clear. All clear. And out we go. When the train parks, go ahead and put up your cross and they'll call the cross. Hey guys, wait a second. Do me a favor, wait a quick second while I cross. Alright. Cross. Cross complete. Alright, this is unload 3. You got your pad, you got your iPhone, you're checking these back 3. You're checking these back 3. Actually, no, you're checking these back 4. Step back here. Yeah, we're actually doing it diagonal from each other, so load 1 and unload 2, check 4. That is because if there's no exit, then load 1 has duties with, A, load 1 is the first clear. B, they also have alternate access duties. If they really need to, they can also wave you up and have you check the whole train from back here. Well, they take care of that. In which case, you just do a high clear when you get a clear from the other side. It's also going to be these back 2 positions if we cut positions as well. We usually cut the front positions when we cut train check. Alright, let's get started. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. People are coming in. Sir, that's got to ride with you. It's not a shoe, it's got to ride with you, sorry. Thank you. Alright, go ahead. Go on up here. Hands up. And then go ahead and look back here. Make sure no one's back here. Look for both clears. Alright, put your clear up. All clear. And away we go. Let's do a couple more. Like I said, very easy. Couldn't be more straightforward than this for a B&M.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants.
Go ahead and come up here. Make sure you're watching over the bins. If you're checking restraints, you're also going to flip these. If there's no exit, you're also going to flip these last 2 bins. And if you're waved up, then you're just going to flip all 3 bins. Trust me, you can easily do it in the time it takes for 3 train ops. Alright, look back here. For everyone's back in their spot. Yeah, clear from there. There, all clear. Alright, we're good to go.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open.
All right, one more cycle, then we're gonna rotate up.
The challenge is again. You'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants. As you step through the gates, deposit any loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bins, keeping everything else with you as you take your seat. If you are still waiting, step back now.
Let's go up here. Ready to check.
Once seated, pull your lap bar down as far as it will go. During your battle,
All right, hands up, please. All right, thank you.
With your head against the headrest and hold on to the handlebars. Keep your legs and feet down and not extend.
To make sure nobody's over here.
Now get ready, for you are about
Right.
to face Robotnik's most perfect creation. Get ready for Metal Side.
All right, when you're ready, go ahead and step in your pad. Put up your high clear. All clear.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting.
All right, let's move up to load 1 or unload 1. A phone right here. Flip this bin if there's no exit, or if you're taking care of alternate it's just wave load 2 up and forego your clear. Other than that, you're checking these first 3. I cycled. Go ahead and look here also when you're clearing a train. And then when you're ready, just put up your low clear. You get to play with that in a little bit. We'll start the next cycle. Trust me, you're not waiting that long. See? It's already out of here.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants. As you step through the gates,
Alright, come on out here to the front of the train. Also, maintenance doesn't like when you put your foot on this, so don't do that. They've threatened to take off the fiberglass off your car, but joke's on them, they can't do that. Alright, hands up. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Go over here real quick. Alright, go ahead, step in your pad, put up your low clear. All clear. There you go.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us.
This video actually is actually ending up being pretty long. Honestly, okay with me.
Any loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bins, keeping everything else with you as you take your seat. If you are still waiting, step back now as the gates are closing. Once seated,
Alright, hands up, please.
As far as it will go. During your battle, remain seated upright, facing forward at all times, with your head against the headrest.
Here, make sure no one's out here.
Keep your legs and feet down and not extended outward.
Wait for everyone to get back to their spot.
For you are about to face Robotnik's most perfect creation. Get ready for Metal Side.
Alright, go ahead, step in your pad, put up your clear. All clear.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants.
Let's go out here.
As you step through the gates, deposit any loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bins, leaving everything else with you as you take your seat. If you are still waiting, step back now, as the gates are closing. Once seated, pull
Alright, train is locked.
down as far as it will go. Turn your bag, remain seated.
Right hands up.
Facing forward at all times, with your head against the headrest, and hold on to the handlebars.
Alright, come up here. Look over there.
And not instead.
Awesome.
Now get ready, for you are about to face robotics' most perfect creation. Get ready for Metal Sonic.
Go ahead and step on your pad, put up your clear. Alright, all clear. Alright. This train parks, go ahead and rotate into the booth.
Welcome back. When the train stops, pull down and push open your lap bars and exit to the right. Be sure to challenge us again. We'll be waiting. Attention, future combatants. As you step through the gates, deposit any loose and...
Alright everyone, so here is our control booth. Got your panel over here with the pedal mic. Got your A phone, your park phone. You got your water cooler. Got your fire extinguisher. And then you have 4 additional height sticks. In case the ones out there break. Metal table will also hold all of the paperwork that you turn in at the end of each night. Overall, there can be a lot in here. So let's go over panel functionality. Your panel enable, that controls panel power. Turn it off at the end of each night, turn it back on. Turning it off and on again is a ride reset. Yeah, it's cliche as it sounds. Operation mode. Auto mode is what it's mostly going to be in. Manual mode is mostly used in the morning for block checks. And transfer mode is if we need to transfer off a train for weather, staffing, or some other reason. Transferring can be done during the day by team members. If you want to switch to manual or transfer mode, you got to be an in-charge or under the supervision of an in-charge or above. And then to transfer, we send one person through the door to go confirm, and then one person to the transfer panel to actually transfer. You move the track over with the train on it, and then you have the person hold down confirm until the train starts moving backward or forwards, and then we got that. And then you can let go of confirm. Gate control. Right now it's an auto. You need to flip it to manual for a variety of reasons. Most of the time it's going to be loading alternate access, but it'll also be because of downtimes or some other reason. So manual, you'd need to use the buttons to open them. This controls the load gates, not the exit gates. Exit gate control is always automatic. If you don't want it to open, then you just hold down exit gate control as the train parks. Your exit gate control, you're gonna hit to open or close the gates. It's a toggle just like gate control over at enable. The acknowledge button is telling the computer you acknowledge any errors it throws at you. We have error messages because it's a consign. When you get an error message, first thing you're going to do is let your ride leadership know wherever they are, or you're in charge if ride leadership isn't here. Then you're going to log it in the downtime log. Then you're going to call the ride down. And then you're going to hit that acknowledge button. When maintenance comes, you're going to step out of the way. Let them do their thing. Lift stop. Stops the lift. Lift start restarts it. There's 2 lift start buttons. There's one here and one at the bottom of the lift. They both need to be held at the same time. And as soon as someone at the bottom of the lift, they're going to ring you with the A-phone. You pick it up. Say, all right, ready. 1, 2, 3. Hold down the button. And then it's going to play the lift start alarm, and then it's going to restart the lift. Your ride stop button, that's going to stop every train in a control point. Control points being anywhere the train can stop. There's 6 control points on this coaster. There's the station. There's transfer, readies, safeties, mid-course, and the lift. It will not cut power to the ride. That's what E-stop is for. E-stop will actually cut power to the ride, which will close all the brakes, stop the lift, and do all that. That's more for emergency situations. Hear a weird noise on the lift, you hit lift stop. If you get weird noise from anywhere else, you hit ride stop. If you see a structural failure, electrical failure, you hit E-stop. If there's a fire, you get everyone away from the fire, and then you hit E-stop. Ride start requires at least area supervisor intervention. It's going to require a ride reset as well, and flip into maintenance mode. Area supervisors also have the maintenance key, not just maintenance people. E-stop resets the E-stop, and that'll actually also require maintenance personnel to be present, according to our SOP. And also a ride reset as well. The E-stop lockout replaced the hasp and cap from before. Before, we would have these plastic caps that broke all the time. So if it's just one or two of you, you put the hasp on, you put the lock key on if you need a mass lockout. Then you put all your locks in the hasp, simply attach another one, you can put more locks on. These would break all the time. So we replaced it with this. It's a lot more expensive. It's a lot easier to use as well. If there's just one or two of you locking out, which is in the case of locks being running through all the low zones. So at night, it's to go through them, get any lost items. In the morning, you'd be scheduled a little bit early for this so we can get going. You'd run around all of them. You'd make sure the gate's closed and locked to a point where no one can squeeze through it. You would look inside, and if there's any lost items inside, you'd go in and grab them. It's a lot quicker in the morning, anyway. We schedule you in early to get that done because we want to have as much time as possible to complete AM inspection and make sure there's enough time for everyone to test ride. Not just one for each train, everyone. Because one person may hear something, another person may not. That's out of the ordinary. Mass lockouts, as I've mentioned. Those are for if we have to evac. Now we use the lockout box. So we'll take the main ride lock, we'll put it on the E-stop lockout, we'll take the key of that lock, we'll put it in the lockout box. It's a clear top box, the red bottom, it's very durable, it's a hard plastic. We throw the key in there, close the lockout box, and then you can put all your locks on it. So long as there's even one lock on there, it can't open. That's how we make sure everyone's removed their lock first. So don't lose your key. It's going to really muddy the waters. I'm not saying the ride can't operate ever again if there's a lock in there from someone who forgot their key, but we're not going to be happy with you if you're that person. So don't forget your key. And it'll most likely take a long time, a lot of paperwork, and you will get a write-up. So I usually keep it on my belt loop. It's the simplest way to keep it from getting lost. Advance to dispatch, same as the other button. Hold it from the time the train starts to move until the train gets back and raises its lap bars. HMI enable deals with the human-machine interface and the restraints. Button is for locking and unlocking restraints. Fun fact, in the morning, to make testing simpler, so we don't have to go and push the lap bars back down, if you hold the restraints button as the train parks, you can keep the lap bars from opening up, which makes AM testing so much easier and quicker. Especially for test rides, because then you can just open up the row they want to go to, and then they can go over, they can close the other lap bars, they can hop in their seat, and since they're an employee, they can check their own lap bar. Employees on the clock can check their own lap bars. And then send the train on its way. Again, really, really, really fast. Let's go over the human-machine interface. Anytime you want to use it while it's in auto mode, manual transfer mode, you don't have to hold down HMI enable. Auto mode, you do. So just hold down HMI enable with one hand, and then do your functions with the other. Run diagnostic is mostly for maintenance personnel. That's for them to address any errors, any problems. Transfer mode. And maintenance mode, those are indicators for those switches right there. View menu. That's for in charge and above to go and view anything they need to, and maintenance personnel as well. On the top right, you have your telemetry data. Train number. Each train has a number. The one leaving is 3. The one coming in is 1. Train parked and station time. This is a fast-paced ride. We want to keep that as low as possible. 45 is usually the target for each dispatch. There's a reason this has one of the highest throughputs of any ride here, despite only having a 7-car train, and being in a park with other B&Ms that have 8-car trains. Because it's extremely fast dispatch time. And no bells and whistles and no seatbelts and nothing to muddy the waters. Wind! There's a wind sensor on top of the ride. If a 45 mile an hour above wind is sustained for 10 minutes or more at the top of the ride will throw an error and stop. And then we go down for high wind. Last run time. We want to keep that steady. Not much we can do about that anyway. If it creeps too high, then we get an average speed reduction warning. If that persists for too long, it'll throw an error. If it creeps too low, we'll get an overspeed warning. If that persists too long, we'll get an error. Usually to address overspeed warnings, there's not much we can do. Luckily, it has to go really, really fast to get an overspeed warning. Usually if it's like 110 degrees, like that fast, or the wind's blowing it a certain way, in order to address that, we can simply bypass a couple rows and, put people in the other ones. Lighten the load a bit. Time is your current time. Temperature. Without winter wheel technology, this can run down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. With the winter wheels on there, which are currently fitted, it can run down to 10 below zero. If it gets anywhere near 30 degrees, then we'll usually have at least one train fitted. If the temperature dips too low, then we can leave the winter wheel train on there, get the others off of there and get them fitted. Usually by the end of October we have them all fitted anyway. This is just for those snap cold moments that we can't quite get every train ready. All of this, and these are your readies. Once everything's green, that means it's time to dispatch. Enable button does not time out. Pads do. If a pad times out, it will flash red, indicating the need to restart the dispatch sequence. Your exit gate, if it's set to close, it'll flash yellow until it is closed. Or not flash yellow, it'll light up yellow until it is closed, and it'll light up green. If it's yellow persistently, that means something's keeping the gate open. If someone throws the gate open or pushes it open or whatever, it'll flash red, and the dispatch sequence will need to be restarted. In some cases, it can throw an error, so try to keep people away from the gates as much as possible on both ends of the station. Empty seat, empty train. We require manual mode for that, and area supervisor approval. For empty seat, you just hit empty seat, hit the seat you want to bypass. Empty train, you hit the row you want to bypass. That is, if we have problems with the restraint, we can bypass a seat or we can tie off the seat and bypass it. So, we have tie-offs. If you do them right, it'll keep the restraint from opening altogether, which is fine on this ride because you can easily step over it. It'll show up gray on there. If we need to bypass a pad for staffing reasons, again, also area supervisor approval. They'll come up, throw it into maintenance mode, which is required for bypass pad. Hit bypass pad, hit the pad you want to bypass, and we can run the ride with less people. Otherwise, in the morning, we use the Gerald method. Or we can call some people from other rides to be pad standers. Since we don't have to usually clear trains in the morning with anyone other than Enable, we can just get people to stand on pads. To release your row, you're going to use the HMI Enable. Select which row or release all seats. Then you're going to say up bar row 2 or whichever row you're unlocking. It restraints. Then, when you want to lock it again, simply hit the restraints button. Simply hitting the restraints button without touching anything else will lock all the lap bars. Whichever's open. If you have 3, 4, or all the rows open, they'll just lock them all again. And then you say down bar if you previously unlocked. Down bar, please recheck if you previously unlocked a row. Alright. Before you sit in the hot seat, here's what you're going to do. When the train parks, the gates are going to open. Once those entrance gates close again, you're going to hit restraints. Once everyone's out, you're going to hit exit gate controls. When everyone's ready and you see a high clear, you're going to do a scan. Then you're going to say all clear to the mic, hit advance and dispatch. It really is that simple. During the time the train's in the station, also be on the lookout for anyone wanting rows unlocked. So you're going to lock those or anyone wanting gates open, as well as anyone giving the gate close signal when the gates are already closed, indicating that the gates need to be set to manual for next cycle. Alright, you're ready. Step on in. Everyone's coming in. Everyone's coming in, having a good time, ready to ride Metal Sonic, best B&M in the park. By a long shot. Gates are closing. Go ahead and hit those restraints button. Alright, train is locked. See seats slowly turning green on the monitor and down here. Everyone's out. Go ahead and exit gate control. There you go. Keep an eye out. Make sure if anyone needs the gates open again, anyone needs gates set to manual, you'll know. All clear? Hit those buttons. There we go. Let's do a couple more. Alright, train stopped, lap bars pop up, and the gates open. Everybody's coming in. Everybody's coming in. Oh, we're loading some people from the exit. Gates are closed. Go ahead and hit restraints. Everyone's checking train now. Go ahead and hit your exit gate control button. Close those exit gates. Always be watching, just in case. Don't forget to watch the train as it's going out, too. Make sure no one's got their phone out. They got their phone out, hit lift stop. Go get him. All clear? Here goes another train. Alright, lap bar's popping up. Alright, one more cycle. Everyone's coming in, everyone's coming in. Nice and quick. Keep this thing rolling. Alright, gates are closed. Go ahead and hit restraints. Train is locked. Row 8 needs up bar. Up bar, row 8. Down bar, please recheck. Hit those exit gates, everyone's out. For anything, looks like everyone's good to go. All clear? There we go. Alright, let's go out here. I got some final thoughts to share with you. Alright, say goodbye to this beautiful station. We got Mania's Metal Sonic over here. We got OVA Metal Sonic up here. Pay homage to the roots of the villain. So anyway, that was it. This is the ride that I've had in my head since December of 2019. Finally brought to life after all these years. It's a really cool ride to ride. It's a really cool ride to work. It's the most sought-after ride to work in a park. With Daybreak being a close second. And you won't really get too late at nights here. Like, even when the park gets capacity, we can run that line out so quick. You'll be out in like 30, 45 minutes after the park closes. Definitely a fast-paced ride. It'll keep you active. It'll keep you working out. Definitely a whole lot of fun. Try to employ Sonic fans at this ride whenever we can. Alright, thank you for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you got any questions, please leave a comment. Saying what your question is, I will do my best to answer it. See y'all at the next one. Peace out.